Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at body systems again with a focus this time on the endocrine system. The endocrine system is your hormonal system, and hormones are chemical substances that act as little messengers within the body. Hormones are produced in a variety of places. They're produced in males, their testicles, and in females in their ovaries. They're also found in your pancreas and your adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands are at the top of your kidneys. They're also found in the thyroid and parathyroid gland, which is found in your throat region. The main controller is actually the pituitary gland, which is found within the brain. If we have a closer look at the brain here, we can see we're looking at the hypothalamus and pituitary gland. Hormones are produced in very small amounts, and they are coordinated by the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland either increases or decreases the amount of hormone being released. The way it knows what to do is from the information that the hypothalamus receives. The hypothalamus consistently checks the internal environment and then tells the pituitary gland whether it needs to increase or decrease the amount of hormones. The hypothalamus is also really important because it links the hormonal system with the nervous system. As said previously, hormones are produced in very small amounts. They travel through the bloodstream to all body cells. However, they do not affect all cells. Hormones are very specific and therefore only act on particular cells, and these cells are the target cells. The way this happens is by the relationship between the shape of the hormone and the shape of the cell. So as we can see here, the hormone has a very specific shape that will only fit inside this cell. The reason it fits inside this cell is because this is the target cell. And this is how hormones have their specificity. Homeostasis is the process of maintaining a constant internal environment. So what this means is that when there is a stimulus that tells you that your body is out of balance, the receptor detects this stimulus. The receptor then sends a message to the control center, being our brain, and our control center determines what the effector is going to do. What the effector will do, however, will make sure that the internal environment goes back to homeostasis, that is, being balanced. If we look at this in terms of temperature, 37 is our normal body temperature. If this body temperature were to rise above normal, what happens is the nervous system signals our blood vessels to dilate. Okay, this dilation makes us go red, and it helps to release some heat from our body to the surroundings. Our body will also tell our sweat glands to start secreting, which means we start sweating. And sweat also helps our body to lose heat to the surroundings. Because of this loss of heat, our body temperature will drop and we'll get back to the nice 37 degrees that we're looking for. If our body were to do the opposite, and that's the temperature drop below normal, we have one of two things happening. First of all, we have our blood vessels constrict, so they get smaller, and our body will not sweat. Now, if our blood vessels can constrict and we can conserve our body heat, then it will rise back to the normal temperature and we'll be back at homeostasis. If, however, our body temperature continues to drop, what happens is our nervous system tells our muscles to start contracting involuntarily. And this is when you start to shiver. This actually generates extra body heat and therefore increases our temperature back to normal. Let's have a look at homeostasis in terms of water now. If we do not have enough water floating around in our blood, our hypothalamus detects this. What it does is it tells our pituitary gland to release ADH, which is antidiuretic hormone. This causes the kidneys to absorb less water from the blood, so our urine becomes more concentrated. In this process, more water is retained within the blood and we get back to our normal happy level. The final way that homeostasis is maintained is with our blood sugar levels. So if we have a happy blood sugar level here and we notice that it gets too high, our pancreas releases a hormone called insulin. And insulin does one of two things. It either makes our body cells take up more glucose, or it tells our liver to store it as glycogen. Both of these processes result in our blood sugar level decreasing back to the homeostatic level. The other option is that our blood glucose level gets low. If this happens, our pancreas again secretes a hormone, but this time it's a different hormone. It's called glucagon. Now, glucagon makes our liver release our stored glycogen in the form of glucose into the blood. So it's pretty much the opposite of this step here. So this release of glucose back into our blood increases our blood sugar level, and we're back to homeostasis.